Hi, this is Albert, and today I'm going to discuss one of my best wins against Anatol Lucky. And in this game, probably the lesson that I can learn is um, never actually forget that the aim of the game of chess is to checkmate your opponent's king while trying to keep your own king safe. And in this opening, it's actually it's only a short game. It's only a 21 move game, but then black cannot really defend well because all the white pieces that I play is directed to attack black's king. Let's just have a look. So the opening was king pawn, which is e4, followed by e5, and then knight f3 trying to attack e5, and then black defend with d6, bishop goes to d6, and I just continue to attack with d4, and then knight f6 here. Knight f6 is a mistake here because probably um, I can just easily take using my d pawn, the pawn of black at e5, which what I will do here. And suddenly there is a fork between the bishop and the knight. So black's actually having a problem here since the beginning, and black just takes using the bishop, and then knight takes. Now queen is trying to sort of utilize this, queen e7, but I just protect my knight using bishop f4, and then knight still takes. Actually, this is not the best move. I believe that another best move was probably d6, and then, but you can do this as well. I just go straight away with an attack, which is bishop to b5, but this is actually a blunder because yeah, as I can say, there will be attack. Knight is actually pinned. If you can see, my king is just behind my knight, and queen goes to b4. It's a check. I protect with my knight while protecting the bishop as well, which is knight goes to c3, and then this is actually one of the blunder, which is queen takes b2, and it's actually just winning a pawn, but the queen is actually, black queen is actually hidden from the battlefield because it's actually losing a tempo here, so it's actually not recommended at all. What I do is I take the pawn at d7, and this is actually called a blunder because my knight actually will be taken. But then later on there will be a discover check. So black has many options here. It can take back the, it can take my knight at d7, or it can take my knight at c3, which is not protected, and the option is totally up to black. But then what is recommended here is actually for black to take the knight near its king, which is at d7, because there is a threat of discover check, and it's actually quite fatal. That can be, you can see it actually later on when, but black is actually trying to take the other knight, which is at c3 check, and I just go to f1, and then this is actually a bad move, so knight goes here, so it's just giving up material. So the knight goes to d2, and I just took it with my bishop, and the queen has to go. Where does the queen go? It just it doesn't know where to go anymore because all the squares are actually uh, occupied by white pieces. White pieces are spread all over the place, and it's actually threatening the king as well with discover check. So the queen escapes to d4, and let's see what happens here. So a discover check, knight takes b8, and then the bishop is actually threatening the king. It's trying to protect using c6, and I just took it with my knight. And queen's trying to go back, is to sort of protect the king from discover check again. But then here, the king is open, and then the pawn structure is already lost, so I just exploit this weakness of black using multiple checks. So queen goes to e1 check. Black has to move or protect. So instead of moving the queen, black's afraid of another discover check, so king moves. But then it's actually not really safe. As you can see here, the king will be checked again using the bishop and before, and checkmate is not avoidable now because there will be a lot of um, multiple checks from here. So as you can see here, it moves to a trap. It's a check now. What can it do? Can do has to move because it's a knight. It's actually a check and also a discovered queen attack. So a check by the knight protected by the queen, and a discovered queen attack by the bishop of white square. So black has to move. The only move is to f8, so it goes back here, and then another check while I'm taking up material, which is the bishop. So another check, discover check. Black has to move to the same place, and then I check it again. So it's multiple check. So and it can go on, but then there's no use here to um, take on more material. I just take the queen using my white square bishop, and then what does black do? It can have another check, and my queen is actually waiting there. So rook goes to e8, and actually this is a check, double check from the knight and also the bishop, black square bishop and the knight. So there's no other way because king has to move, and this is the only move, and I close it with my queen. So this is the end of the game, and it's actually a fatal mistake by black by focusing on losing tempo and losing focus on what is actually important. So thank you for watching this game, and see you again.